What up, Dave?
Hey, I'm back. Is it weird I don't have glasses? It's weird to me. So I
don't know. It doesn't. I don't
hey,
look that different.
just wanted to let you know I did the thing.
Well, we talked about the thing.
And I did the thing.
Nice. So the other day we were talking about in the video. I think it was called "Breaking Up Custom Properties." I was talking about how we use HSL on CodePen, by the way, because this is a real thing. We were messing with our colors. And sometimes we have all these brand colors and all these gray colors, and it's like HSL, and you want to just use it. You want to just say var color 8, and you use it, right? That's great. But sometimes you're like, I want color 8, but I actually want like 80% opacity of color 8. And CSS these days is like, no, sorry.
Yeah.
Basically.
I hear you. I can't do that.
No.
Yeah.
You can't. So the idea is you found a way that you can do it that's very, very clever. And there's two different paths to success here, and we'll figure out we'll look at them a little bit. But let's look at the days of yore a little bit here.
Yeah. Here, I'm on my old website.
Ooh, a $! SAS time.
I'm using SAS, baby. SAS is back. Here we go. So in SAS, you would do BG color, and you could pass it any color. This could be HSL. It could be green. It could be red. It could be whatever, RGBA, anything. And then if you wanted to change the thing, you'd just go like RGBA, and then you'd go over here, and then you'd just type like 20%.
It doesn't need all three. It doesn't need all three values for whatever reason. Just because this is SAS, it just knows what you mean, and it's like, oh yeah, I'll give you 20% of that color. No problem.
It's like I get it, And then, or you could even do like whatever, like BG. If you're just being fancy, you could be like BG alpha and just be like 20% or something.
And the alpha variable in there.
And then let's just move that down. Oh no. You could just put that in there, and then it's like, yep, I still get it, right?
Yeah, and just to be weird, that RGBA function could be, I don't know. Why did I always use RGBA? I always just trusted it to do the right thing.
I think so, and I think it maybe even works here. Yeah,
does it? Oh, that just blows my mind.
SAS is tough.
So the point is, it was really flexible. You could give it any color. That BG color could be anything. Change it to red or something, and it would just be 20% red then.
Yeah, I can like literally redefine it right here, and it'd just be like red, and then it's like
20% of red. Now CSS itself has, at the moment, doesn't have a great way of doing this, right? So
yeah, because you went to CSS school. You said, "Oh, I know. That's how you do CSS, right?"
Right.
And then you're like, "I'm gonna go."
We don't want to use SAS anymore. Let's just say,
no one uses SAS. No one uses SAS. So you're saying, "Okay, I'm gonna use in here. I'll comment out the SAS here just to keep our heads straight here." I'll move it up because I want to keep it later. Okay, so you do that, does not work. And that's what we were talking about in the show.
I guess it just doesn't work, right?
Like that's what we were talking about in the show. Is like it would be cool if you could use this. And you kind of came up with a way where you could do like BG color, like HSL, or you splat out the HSL values right here, right?
Splat them out.
So let's just use this one.
I think this is kind of useful. You need the percentage after 45, and then
my weird keyboard.
And then you can use them in an HSL function, or you can use them kind of raw.
Yeah, so let's say BG color HSL, right? So that's like our BG color HSL, and we're putting that in here.
But you actually have to match the function, right? You can't call RGB because these are actual HSL values.
Oh, okay. So I have to call it HSL, and so now I'm kind of limited. Okay.
Oh, it actually works though, thank God,
It works. That's a good way to do it. And if you are having success doing this, awesome.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, what I did was ship BG color 1 and BG color 1 HSL. That way you didn't have to call HSL every time you wanted to use it,
Yeah.
It just saves typing and stuff. But this kind of works, but you're absolutely limited to this, to these little hoops.
Yeah. And so in the show, I was just like mouth blogging. Maybe you could use CSS Houdini to do this. And that's when I did the thing. I made baby's first paintlet.
Oh, wow.
So a paint worklet for CSS Houdini. And the API is pretty simple. You include some JavaScript, you link to the thing. And then you, in your div, you specify a BG color and a BG alpha. This is the API I kind of designed, but it'll take whatever. And then you just do paint alpha.
Right.
So
that's great. I like that you pontificated it on the show, and I was like, I don't know. I guess Houdini can do fancy stuff, so I guess it will work.
So let's kind of play around with that. So BG color, we'll just go back to these guys maybe, because whatever.
Sure. Got to convert them to custom properties. And these paint worklets, aren't they kind of designed to?
This is going to be 0.2 or whatever. Like just it's So
that's what it wants because it's JavaScript, and that way you won't have to parse int or some crap.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's an API, but I believe Houdini Paint is like, that's how it wants you to communicate the worklet, isn't it?
Right. Yeah, the whole thing is like it wants to kind of like you give it parameters and then you kind of, it'll just paint whatever it had. And let me show you the code, because I thought, and I maybe kind of showed it already, but I thought it was going to be hard. I thought I was going to write like sea level shaders and stuff, like I was fully ready to like how bad is this going to get? I started looking into it, Chris. It's just Canvas. This is literally like 6 lines of code. 11 lines.
Paint. So what does the word alpha mean online?
Alpha is my function name. That's so when you do BG Paint Alpha, that's what it's referring to. I've registered the Paint Worklet as alpha. And then I'm getting those input properties. I'm watching for those. Those are like my props, my whatever in React or whatever. And when those change, this will paint again. And so the paint takes a context, which is a canvas context with some limitations, asterisks, the size of the div, and then props, which would be like my properties.
Which you dealt with on line 3 there.
Yep. So
that's cool.
I set the global alpha of the context of the canvas to BG alpha. Yeah. And I set the fill style to the BG color. And then I fill the rectangle.
Yeah, fill rect is like the first day of Canvas school. That's what you learn how to do. So it's quite literally Canvas. I mean, you said asterisks because it doesn't have like whatever. You're not expected to run a request animation frame on there.
Yeah, you don't have access to window or document which is like how you would do like a Canvas animation, like window.request animation frame. Mm-hmm. So you can't do that here. But you could do it here. And I'm not going to do it because I'll just code biff here. I'll fall on my face. But you could like animate the background color here. I'm going to give you some terrible ideas, Alex Fimion. You could animate on scroll. You could animate as you're like, you could animate over time.
Why do it in JavaScript when you could do it in CSS? Because I assume there's some kind of like watcher on those custom properties so if you animated that BG color, that paint is going to repaint.
Yeah, and so I have maybe like a more complicated example here. Here's my demo. So you can change the color and it changes instantly. You can tune the opacity and it'll just change instantly. This is just like setting a CSS variable. If you like look at my terrible JavaScript, or I don't even know where I wrote the terrible JavaScript. I think it's in my HTML. Yeah, I'm just setting a property.
Oh yeah.
So on change. Yeah.
Classic.
Whatever. I was just going for it. You can do HSL. You can just change a hue. I was kind of doing the hue variable thing there. It works with named colors like tomato, Rebecca purple. It does all that. And then I got it to work with borders, which was like literally, I've never successfully made a border image source work, but I did it.
Because it takes what is it returning?
So the Paintlet is basically returning a canvas, an image. And so you can, anywhere you use images.
URL, you can do paint.
Yep, exactly. And so pretty cool. And you can and it changes really quick, updates immediately in the DOM, like it repaints immediately. So that's pretty cool.
That's a nice comment in there. It is pretty cool. And remember, kids at home, it seems like, Dave is adjusting the alpha of a color. Big deal. But it's like, you can't. That's not a thing you can do weirdly.
Yeah.
You can change opacity. if you know that you're using RGB or something, there's that fourth parameter that you can use, but named colors don't have that. You can't, and then if you set it once in a custom property, you can't then decide later that it's going to have opacity, but now you can,
Yeah.
And it just so happens that Canvas happened to have not secretly, I mean, of course it has this, but it just happens to have a thing that it will just take any color and then you adjust opacity separately. Do you have that code again?
Yeah,
it just
yeah.
happens to be a different...
So
where is it again?
Global Alpha
It just
and
happens
fill
to be a
style.
Canvas thing. Yeah, beautiful.
And this is just like sweet to me. I don't know. I was like, no way it's this easy. And it was totally this easy.
This episode of Shop Talk Video is brought to you by Elastic. Elastic is the company that makes a bunch of products all kind of based around Elasticsearch. What is Elasticsearch? Well, it's based on Apache Lucene. It's a database product, free and open source, that's just specialized for search, essentially. Like, think about MySQL. That technology is free and open source. It's a database technology, but it's good at a certain set of things, and Elasticsearch is a database that's just good at different things, particularly search. Like, imagine a company that's got lots of text content. It needs to be searched through really accurately with good features and really quickly. That's Elasticsearch all day long. I can't use imagine CodePen, right? There's tons and tons of text documents that need to be searched, millions and millions and millions. We literally can't use MySQL for that. We take that data, we put it in Elasticsearch, and that provides our search product for CodePen. It's vitally important, so important. But what else could you use it for? Well, how about search for literally any text on any website, or put your analytics information in it and make that analytics data fast to get out and use in that way. So that it's not just search. There's other kind of interesting aspects you can use it for. It's super fast indexing. So if you give it text, the time between you giving it to it and it being searchable is super, super fast. It's easy to shard out and disperse. It has a bunch of features that are unique for searching, different operators and stuff on search. It's great. And of course, it's free and open source. Everything Elastic makes is that. So imagine a company like Automatic or whatever. WordPress is open source, and all the stuff they do is open source, and then they build a company on top of that. It's really kind of the same model here. So their product is better for it, just like WordPress is in a way. But then, what are the paid products then? Well, just so you know, it's kind of like, well, what if you need hosting? Like, if you want to host this thing on your own cloud, fine, go ahead, whatever. But sometimes it's nice to be able to get the full feature set from the people who make it and really know what they're doing. Well, why don't you host it on Elastic Cloud? Meaning, they'll make sure that it's hosted properly. If you have questions, there are the people that you ask to see what's up. There's observability and monitoring and alerts and all that kind of stuff that happens, and they'll help you with all that. So that's, I think, high level how you can think about Elastic and Elasticsearch.
Now here's the bad news. Are you ready for the bad news? This is a pants kick. If you go to can I use Chrome is the only place where these paintlets work.
Does that mean Edge too then?
Edge and Opera. Everyone's favorite Opera.
Yeah. Remember when we were on the game show the other day? I feel like people couldn't even remember Opera anymore. It's like they jumped the shark, so we don't talk about Opera anymore.
Yeah. So anyway, so that is a major bummer. Wouldn't it be cool though if we didn't have to invoke my own painting mechanism and we could just do it in CSS? Why, yes.
Well, certainly not, especially because then whatever these things are can race.
Yeah.
See who gets
here first. Well, in Safari technical preview under a flag only is this new syntax.
Under a flag and in technical preview? Okay.
Yeah. So it's this new syntax called relational colors.
Yeah, that's nice.
And so it's actually kind of cool. The syntax is weird. I think the first time I saw it, I kind of threw up a bit. But I'm starting to like it because I like what it does. You say HSL is the
the function anyway.
That's the function I'm using.
Yeah.
But you say from foo, this is red. This could be red, or this could be green. Those first two things
really matter. That from green. As soon as you say from, then you can pass it anything as that
anything
value. It could be RGB or whatever else.
and then from like JavaScript land, it destructures that color into 3 variables, H, S, and L. Right? And you can actually, Adam Argyle was showing me, like you can actually like
mess with them,
calc these things. So like that's probably like
you just
probably
halved the saturation of it. So
I
the
have
point
the
is, if you just
saturation,
put
yeah.
S, it just means don't mess with it. Just leave the S. Or it's like, or mess with the S.
yeah. Let's
It
make
doesn't
it
even have to be S.
Oh,
Couldn't you
you
just
can't.
be like? Couldn't you just put a hard value in there if you even wanted to?
Yeah, I think you could maybe even do like whatever 13%. I don't know. My weird keyboard.
So that means don't use S. Just do whatever I'm gonna tell you to do.
But use the same hue and the same lightness, so it's all in the same color family.
That's
I just
cool.
changed
That's
it,
cool.
and then
you have that
this
optional slash parameter at the alpha at the end.
this is my alpha at the end. So this is kind of cool. I like it. I did not like it the first second I saw it, but I got used to it really quick, and so. This is cool. This is a standard. It's being promoted. It's being developed on in Safari. None of the other browsers have it. That's a bummer.
I think it started as color dash adjust or something, and then that was booted for this. I don't remember the exact story.
Oh,
but
interesting.
I really
Okay.
like that HSL, because you're not even supposed to use HSLA anymore and RGBA anymore. You use this like no comma syntax and then use the slash at the end, meaning that like the learning surface for our brains is less. Like you don't have to teach 2 different functions. It's just HSL. That's the only one. And it's just RGB. And then in the future, because I know we didn't talk about this and we're not going to go there in this video, but there's like futuristic color formats that are then going to have the same kind of vibe.
Yeah, no, totally. And so like, is that a thing I can do? Right. So that's like, this would be the new way to write a color. And I can actually use that in here too. So
Yeah, you
like,
totally can.
Ooh, var. So
Yeah, that'll work the same, I think.
I think I have it as like 100%, so it goes straight to white or something, maybe. Yeah. Oh, it's not working. Oh no, I broke it.
But it might not work because it doesn't look wrong. HSL
But
from HSL. Oh, there you go.
Dude, CSS, get real.
That's why you need a preprocessor just to yell at you.
just to yell at you.
You know what I mean? CSS is too forgiving these days. Yeah, that's to me it looks kind of beautiful to me because from is such a strong word at the beginning. It just means, you know.
And my original beef was that looked like an animation or a linear gradient for me. But now that I understand it as like some function, it's almost like the word function in JavaScript. It's just something. It's doing something to this color. It's taking this as input and it's doing something with it. So.
Right. I mean, if I was going to critique any syntax here, it'd be that weird, like, get static properties crap in the Paint Worklet. That one was very funky to me. Especially because, like, you have to name it in the code that you're importing. You have no chance to, like, rename what you're going to call the Paint Worklet when you call the Paint Worklet. It feels like you should name it, like, as you're calling it, not there on line 1.
Yeah, because it's, you know, this is a class syntax. And so, yeah, this is sort of like a special keyword, right? But...
Yeah, I just mean like on line 1, you had to put alpha right in there. You can't name it like from the outside, so you have to trust whoever wrote this worklet to call it something namespaced or something. I don't like that.
And that's what we're gonna run into, that problem, like namespaced sort of stuff. So I would be cool if you could export this stuff, maybe, or but you could also I could export the class and you could register the Paintlet as whatever you want, you know. So we could. There's ways. I don't know. Anyway, it's an interesting future. I was just kind of pleased, like my dumb mouth blog kind of worked. Yeah, and so so anyway, this is up on GitHub if you want to play with it. I will not be accepting pull requests or working on or maintaining it at all whatsoever, but you can look at it and play with it. I was actually just really pleased to I feel like this opens up a big place for me to like play with Houdini because I wasn't doing that before, and it's really just little canvas toys, and that's kind of fun. I don't know. You could do cool, weird stuff with it. So
yeah, it's no surprise to me that the people that are into like generative art
are doing this
onto it, especially because of the API of custom properties. It seems like those two things combined really are badass, you know, because you're delivering this kind of API for them. Maybe we'll look at more of those later. I remember didn't Google make like a pretty baller playground for simple?
Yeah, is it Houdini.how is the thing, and lots of fun ones. I mean, these are all people who are really good at this. I'll show you my favorite one. Is this new one? Starfield's cool. Oh, Veroni is cool.
Come on. And these are so easy.
Oh, my monitor just crashed. Oh well. Or just went to.
Or can you literally not see?
Oh, I couldn't see.
He's blind.
Well, that's maybe part of Houdini. Is it made like absolutely crash GPUs? But it's the confetti one, the new confetti. It looks like an old, not that. Oh, that confetti one's awesome. But this one, Paint Flex. It looks like
get out of here.
enamel
Seriously,
mugs.
Is that the one you like the most?
That's the one I love.
How did you not know this? Go to CSS Tricks right now. Really.
CSS Tricks.
And just look at the header. It's really subtle. But see the header, like the little flag?
I see them in there.
Now go to the footer, too. You can see them better down there. I agreed with you so much. I was like,
oh
the
my
flecks are the best.
gosh.
Fleck it up, dude. And I feel like I thought of Paravel when it was happening, because I'm like, Paravel loves these freaking flecks.
Well,
They fleck
dude,
it up.
was I immediately thinking about making a grungetron? Absolutely. A grunginator? Yes. I'm just going to grunge every damn site I ever see, dude. And this is cool. I mean, I could, in theory, right? Couldn't I like come in here, hack your grunge values and...
Yeah, I don't know what I passed it. I'm sure I just passed it a couple of colors, but George made, a couple of just tiny little, who knows where I set them.
Fleck count 9,000. Yes! That's how you make a Paravel website, baby!
Yes.
Then you get people like licking their laptop screens.
Yeah, no, that's the Paravel secret, is to make it look like you really need to actually clean your monitor.
Yeah, that's it. Don't look at the sites in sunlight. That's the that's the key. So, hey, well, anyway, this is fun future. This is cool. I wish this was in more browsers, but we'll get there.